Workers' compensation insurance protects your employees for injuries during the course and scope of employment, and it protects your business from related lawsuits. Trusted guidance is provided by FloridaWC.com, your partners for workers' comp.
Thanks for joining us. I'm here today with Michael Rabinowitz. He's a workers' compensation defense attorney with Banker, Lopez & Gassler. And today we want to discuss, as an employer, what you do in the case when you have an injured employee that returns to work, but through a return to work program where they're not back to 100% fully to doing their job description that they were before. So they have some ongoing issues with their previous injury, and you're still paying on their workers' comp claim. So Michael, if you would kind of explain for our audience what they can do when this happens and some of the terminology that goes along with it.
In a situation like this, when you have an injured worker and they have restrictions and you're honoring their restrictions, you're having them work for you, say in a light duty capacity. And they may not be working a full work day or their original job in the first place, but you do have work for them. If you are not able to find work for them, you would have to pay them what's called temporary partial disability benefits. And for an employee under the law, it isn't that hard to prove. All they have to show is a causal connection between their injury and their wage loss. So if it's simple where they have a light duty restriction from their workers' comp doctor, and you as the employer can't honor them, then you're going to pay them temporary partial disability benefits. In the case for injured workers, they don't have to, like I said, they don't have to show much. It's a small hurdle, but you as the employer, you do have some affirmative defenses. And once again, this is the theme of all these videos, is to document your file. If an employee unjustifiably refuses suitable employment offered to him or her, you can deny these temporary partial disability benefits. Once again, document the offer. If you have a light duty, an injured worker on light duty, have that light duty available in your return to work program, actually offer to her or him or her in writing. Have them sign off on it. If they don't agree to it and it's unjustifiable, I think that's a term that a judge would define, you could have a defense to paying them that temporary partial disability benefit payment. A second way you can defend against these claims is employee misconduct. The standard of law now for misconduct would be the same standard for denying unemployment compensation benefits. So you as the employer, just like you would document your file on a termination for misconduct to prevent you from losing unemployment compensation benefits, have another purpose in mind, and that's for future workers' compensation benefits. Finally, if the employee is actually being accommodated, but you have light duty work for them, and they leave the job without just cause, whatever reason, they just disappear, they do a no call, no show, and you have a termination policy for that, their earnings can be deemed. In other words, once they don't show up anymore, it's as if the time that they no longer show up to work, it's as if they were being paid workers' compensation benefits. But they're not really. You get that defense, you get that credit, if you will, against the time that they disappeared. Finally, it's so important today that I end with this point. With today's economy the way it is and the job market, it's harder and harder for employees to find new jobs. If for some reason you as an employer have to have layoffs for whatever economic reason, your injured workers that are laid off, it's much easier for them to claim workers' compensation benefits in this market than it was before. Per recent case law, you as the employer, a layoff is not a defense to paying workers' compensation benefits for temporary partial disability. So think about that when you make layoffs. That'll be an added exposure to all your workers' compensation claims if you make that.
For more information, visit FloridaWC.com. We are proud to be your trusted choice.